And welcome back. Our next guest is the Executive Director of the New York Common Pantry and joins us today for a look at their work in the community. They're doing some great things. We have Stephen Grimaldi. He's in the house. He's the Executive Director of New York Common Pantry. Of course, the Common Pantry is dedicated to reducing hunger throughout the city while promoting dignity and self-sufficiency. So you started this how long ago?
Well, the pantry began in 1980. It was a community effort, a grassroots effort. People decided they had enough of people eating out of garbage cans, and they served 30 people that first year. And here we are in 2017, probably going to serve about 5 million meals to almost 80,000 distinct people this year.
So you saw a need in the community, and you said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do."
Absolutely, yeah. It was an effort that happened really from the faith community. It started actually with churches and synagogues saying we're going to come together in this common effort to reduce hunger, and obviously became a 501c3 and an independent organization, nonprofit, just a few years later. But here we are. So.
And you've been doing it for some time. When did you join?
Oh, I joined about a little less than 10 years ago. Yes.
And what does piqued your interest in it?
Oh, well, I was an intern back many years ago when I was in social work school, and then after doing other things, I wanted to come back to the pantry and got the opportunity to be executive director.
Giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
So as the executive director, what do you see? What are your functions?
Well, one of the things that we saw just a few years ago is that people were coming from all parts of the city to our East Harlem location. And what we wanted to do is stop people we felt as though it was like a second job, it was a part-time job. Some people were working 1 or 2 jobs already to come to get food at an emergency food program. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So we began to branch out and partner with other nonprofit organizations. And in the Bronx, for example, alone, we have 45 different partners. We do mobile case management, we do emergency food and nutrition education and wellness.
So you see a lot of this. People are working, some of them have full-time jobs, but they're still in need of food, extra food.
It's really startling, and in particular in the Bronx. 26% of the folks that live in the Bronx live in poverty, according to the New York City Center for Economic Opportunity. 56% of them of the folks that live in the Bronx don't meet the self-sufficiency standard. Yeah. So there's a lot of need, and if you look at food insecurity, it's sort of very sort of basic. Almost 19% of Bronx residents are food insecure.
Wow. And not to mention the homeless, people who are living on the street.
Absolutely, and we do some of that as well, hygiene services and hot meal program, brown bags. We serve people 365 days out of the year. Yeah.
And so where are you located?
So we have our main location is at 109th Street in East Harlem, but we opened up Choice Pantry Bronx, 1290 Hoe Avenue. That's a pantry that is located, like I said, in the Bronx, right off the 2 and the 5 at the Freeman stop. And we opened a pantry in April.
If you just tuned in, we're live on Open. We're live on TV on Open. And we have a young man here, Stephen Grimaldi. He's the Executive Director of New York Common Pantry, and he's explaining everything that's going on in the city and the great need in our city.
That's right.
So you got the holidays coming up. What do you do for the holidays? I mean, Thanksgiving down the line, you do a great feeding.
Yeah, well, obviously hunger and food insecurity is a need all year around, all year long. So, but for the holidays, we try to do something special for our pantry members. One of the interesting things about our model is that we really do, and not just in mission and name, promote dignity and self-sufficiency. We have a choice pantry. We allow people to choose the food. It's done with the key volunteers are a core part of our operation. Last year we had 50,000 labor hours performed by volunteers, by almost 15,000 volunteers. So you can get a sense of the scope of our program. And what we find is that when people come through our Choice Pantry, we enroll them in resources like SNAP and the Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Care Tax Credit. We try to access all the resources, help them maximize their food budget through understanding how to eat better and how to do it on unlimited income. You put that all together, and folks, after about a year, start to come less often. So it's really interesting. If you look at folks who come, almost 70% after just a year come less often
Yes.
for our food. And about 39% of those people stop coming altogether because we help stabilize their households. It's not just a bag of food. It's not just letting them choose the food, which obviously is very important because there's dignity in that, but it's
Yes.
helping people with other resources. And after 2 years, is huge change because 84% of the people reduce reliance after 2 years of being with us, and 61% stop coming altogether. So they don't need our resources anymore. So it's a stabilizing of the household.
And then you get some of those people that come back and help out. They
Absolutely.
want to get back to the community like you.
Absolutely. There's a real wonderful sense of community, and people do come to volunteer, and it's a big part of our mission.
And you have other programs.
Absolutely. So I mentioned the nutrition education. We have a team of nutritionists. They go citywide. They're really committed to making sure that people are stretching their food dollar. We help them read food labels. We go to green markets. We do school gardens. And then on top of that, there's resource acquisition, SNAP, as I mentioned, and some tax assistance. So it's really trying to maximize, put everything, leave nothing on the table for our families so that they can become stable.
Yeah, that's great. I love the work that you guys are doing in the
Thank
community. So our food pantries, again, you have one in the Bronx, you have one in Harlem.
We have
Are you
actually,
working through other 5 boroughs?
yes, we are. We have a Nourish program which is particularly focused on seniors, and we call it Nourish. And that program services actually 4 out of the 5 boroughs, and we have almost 90 sites where we deliver food to low-income seniors, and we partner with other existing organizations. Now, Choice Pantry Bronx was a partnership with Banana Kelly Community Improvement Association, as you know, Bronx-based organization. They provided us with space and 10 years of free rent. We got funding from
that's
the
great.
Helmsley
Yeah,
Charitable Trust. So it's this combination, real partnerships that go across the community to really help us serve
Do you have any elected officials behind you?
We met with every elected official in the Bronx in
Yeah.
particular, and they're very supportive of our work. So
That's great, and we are too. Anybody that's doing anything, doing great things in the community, we want to be right there with you every step of the way.
great.
And I'm
Thank you.
sure we can get some cameras out there and maybe capture some of the great things that you guys are doing. If you
Absolutely.
allow us to come in, we can talk to Michael Maxnabi, the executive director here, and see if we can get some cameras out on location.
Anytime.
All right.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your great work.
Thank you.
Give him a big round of applause, everybody. Stephen Grimaldi, executive director, New York Common Pantry. We thank you and appreciate you. We have to take a quick break right here, but coming up next, we'll take a unique look, a trip through the Bronx. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.